So back to the header. Now that we know how to use Flexbox, we can work on the layout of these elements. So we want the H1 and H3 to be in the middle of the header. So somewhere around here, we want them to be aligned both vertically and horizontally. And then on the navbar, we want these three elements to be in a straight line as opposed to underneath each other. And we probably want them to be somewhere on the right side here of the navbar. So we're going to start with the header text. We already have these selected in a div. So we've wrapped them in a div with the ID header text, and that's already selected in CSS. So we know that the first thing we need to do to start using Flexbox is to say display flex, and to align them horizontally, we use justify content center. So we know that already. If we refresh here, we can see that they're now centered horizontally. They're also on the same kind of line, but we'll get to that in a second. So now we just want to align them vertically as well. So if we go back to Flexbox guide and continue scrolling down, you can see that the next property is called align items, and this is, it can be flex start, flex end, center, or stretch, or baseline. So this looks like what we need. This looks like vertical alignment. So flex start is at the top, flex end is at the bottom of the section, and center is in the middle. So this seems like what we need. So if I use align items center, my titles should be now they're in the middle of the screen, and we just have a small issue that they're on the same line and kind of seem like, you know, like the same sentence. So we just want them underneath each other. And if we remember from flex direction, the default one is row, and that seems what's happening here. So that is just arranging them into a row, my H1 and then my H3, but we actually want them to be a column. So we can add here flex direction column. If we do this and refresh, that's it, they go underneath each other and in the middle of the header. So this is what we were looking for. And we just left with styling the navbar. So on the navbar, if we use again, we're gonna use Flexbox on the unordered list, yes, because this is the parent element of the three list items, not navbar. Navbar only contains one element, whereas the unordered list contains these three. That's where we want to style it. So we go to unordered list, display flex. Okay, refresh. You can see that they are actually displayed in the line. If we want, let's align them to the right side of the screen first. So that's easy. Justify content. And where do you think it'll go? That's right, flex end. So flex end is for the items to align to the right, and just to give a little bit of space around them, we'll select the individual elements, so the LI, and we're gonna give them some margin, and let's say we can have a small margin at the top and bottom, or like a bigger margin at the top and bottom, 10 pixels, and 10 pixels left and right. If we refresh this, that's it, we have our navbar, have 20 pixels top and bottom, and then 10 pixels between each of them, so it's actually 20 in total. And it's starting to look a lot better now with a navbar and a header and a nice section. So that is Flexbox in a nutshell, and feel free to continue practicing with it and using the other properties as well as using properties on the children themselves, which we will do later. Yep, so now it's a good time to take a break or keep practicing if you'd like to, before we get into section 2 and responsive images.